In part 1, I fortified the flood walls on either side of the creek crossing with a couple of loads of carefully selected rocks. Placing them with the backhoe was challenging at times, but in the end I was pleased with the results. Let's take up where I left off at the end of part 1.
Now the creek reaches flood stage, obviously largely due to very, very heavy rain, particularly when it rains very heavily for several hours straight. The water level can come up significantly, but there's another contributor as to how high this creek can rise, and we'll go take a look at that now. This right here is what causes super flooding. When a tree falls across the creek, especially if it has lots of branches like this one does, it's actually forked. You'll see closer in a moment. It gives it an opportunity to start catching other debris that's coming down the creek. Before long, you have what looks like a beaver dam. In fact, since this first had flooded out, when it looked like an almost solid beaver dam across there, a lot of this had actually washed out and was gone. But since we had the last heavy rain, it's built up again. So it looks like it's setting itself up for another super flood. So my strategy is to cut off this fork here so that I can pull this whole section off across the creek and onto land before cutting it up. I want to minimize the amount of time I actually have to get in the creek. If I do have to get in the creek, I brought some boots for that.
Hear that? It seems the neighbor's cows are cheering me on, which I really appreciate. One of my logging chains that I carry on the tractor is just a ticket for pulling that big branch out of the creek. I spread the load between both grab hooks, which centers the load on the bucket. I start cutting up the branch from the top down. Whoa, glad I wasn't straddling the branch while cutting it. Situational awareness is crucial, along with thinking through what could happen when you make a cut. Next, I get the two big sections of the branch lined up to be dumped in the woods. I forgot to mention that this that I was calling a tree is actually more of a branch or a fork off of this much bigger tree. Broke off right there a couple years ago. And the tree's still putting out, but I think it's ultimately going to die. So it's a huge chunk out of it broken out right there. And that limb right there is also a piece from it. As you can see, we've got a big improvement already. But next up, I need to cut that fork off right there where it forks so that I can pull this section of log back and get to this, hopefully pull this section out and see how much of this comes with it. I can also see how close I can get to the bank and reach down there and there with the backhoe and thumb and pluck some of this out. That may not be safe. I'll just have to play it by ear. It's hard to tell how stable this is. This is a lot of sand here, so we'll just proceed with caution.
Then I cut off the other fork in the branch so I can pull the other big section away before pulling the fork out of the creek. With the other fork cut off, I can pull away this big section sitting on the bank. One of the things I love about the B-expanded tooth bar is it extends the bucket's edge enough to be able to lift up logs and stack them tighter together than I could with the factory bucket edge. There, nice and compact. Now it's time to pull that last big section out of the creek. Then cut it up into manageable pieces. And dispose of it responsibly. Once again, the tooth bar helps me stack and compact those logs.
Here's what's left to clean up. But because it's starting to get late in the afternoon and I promised my sweetheart a ride in the Ranger on our trails, I'm gonna call it quits today and take it up again tomorrow. But you won't have to wait until tomorrow because I have a generous special effects budget and I can make it tomorrow just like that. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool, huh? Not so much? Let's get busy.
I decide to see how much debris I can remove with the backhoe. The edge of the bank seems solid enough to get as close to the pile as I dare. This is when it gets to be a lot of fun. I pushed the pile back to make room for more. There's a big log floating that I'm trying to position to be able to grab it. Got it. Oh, no, you don't. That booger tried to escape back into the creek. Another good-sized log. That limb is just out of reach of the bucket. So,
This is the reason why I have a grab hook on my bucket. This is going to come in handy.
that went well. I removed the chain so I can finish bringing the limb ashore. I sense someone watching me and then see a young cow staring at me. Looks like I have a new subscriber. Next, I put on my rubber boots and wade into the creek to toss the big branches and logs closer to the backhoe. Let's go ahead and get that volleyball out of the creek. No telling where it came from. And it rolled right back into the creek. I'll be seeing it again shortly. There it is again. Well, at least it stayed on the bank this time. A little more backhoe fun to finish it up. And here's where I will declare victory. I'll let the next big rain wash the remaining sticks down the creek. The cows are celebrating with me.
All right, I'm going to call that done. I'm going to let this pile behind me dry out, and then I'll probably push it elsewhere so it's not right by the bank in case it gets washed back in. But this should eliminate some of the super high flooding I've had in the past, so this is awesome. I'm real pleased with how it went. Have you ever had to do a project like this? If so, tell me about it in the comments. I'd love to hear. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please click that like button, leave a comment, and by all means, please subscribe. If you want to know when I post new videos, click that little bell. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.